It appears some voters in Representative Lauren Boebert's district are fed up with the QAnon congresswoman. Interesting. According to several Colorado newspapers, including the Colorado Sun, the Steamboat Pilot, and Today, and the Aspen Times, who interviewed people all over Boebert's district to, of course, see what unaffiliated voters think of her. So, again, these are the swing voters. It could go one way or another. In her district, 31% of voters are registered Republicans, 24% are Democrats, and 44% are unaffiliated. So that's a really big pool that could make the difference. But that said, unaffiliated doesn't necessarily mean that they won't vote for Republicans. This means they're unaffiliated with either party, but it doesn't mean that they don't lean in either direction. So if there are more Republican leaners, then yeah, you're going to have more Republicans. But let's get to the responses, right? 70-year-old Marilyn Morris of Pueblo said this about Boebert, quote, "I don't like the way she behaves in Congress. That is not respectful, and I wouldn't vote for her for that reason alone." All right, cool. She continued by saying, "She's just lying all the time, so I just don't trust her." Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. 59-year-old Richard Hirano of Craig said this, quote, "I think Boebert is kind of crazy, but I don't think the other party has any better options. I just think she's sometimes off the deep end. She sounds like she's trying to push that we need to be ruled by religious belief." Well, that's exactly what she's doing. Look, I'm going to show you her exact words on this.
The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
Okay. It's very, very clear that she hasn't read the Constitution. It's literally in the First Amendment. The very First Amendment! How did you not go that far? I know that she can't read. Obviously. She couldn't even get that far. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That sure doesn't sound like, the church directing the government. How much more obvious could it be that the only thing that she wants is a Christian theocracy? That's un-American. 100% un-American. Literally not what the founders were in favor of, and actually had set up this secular government to avoid doing that same thing. Un-American. But there's more. Deputy Cooper, 39 of Grand Junction, said that while she has conservative values, she would write in a candidate rather than support Boebert. Again, talking about unaffiliated voters, here we already have someone who's like, the other side just doesn't have any better options. We have Christian neo-fascist, but then the Democrats not that great either, It's like, I don't know. This is hard. Really, is it that hard? It's frustrating. But then, this woman's like, I have conservative values. Of course, I'm never going to vote for a Democrat. But I can't support Boebert either. In fact, she says, quote, "I just feel like she's more focused on attention than getting stuff done." 38-year-old Anthony Medved of Durango echoed something similar, saying, quote, "I think Boebert cares more about her persona than she does of actually making a difference in this world." Adding that she's giving his state and country a terrible look. Oh, no kidding. She needs to be removed from her responsibilities, and I will be encouraging anyone I talk to vote against her and her radical thoughts and actions. Okay, so great. Wonderful. That said, obviously, Boebert has a ton of support, and the polling is on her side. And let me give you one of those. This 44-year-old Joshua Burt of Ringley, who said that Boebert was a little too extreme, but Then he wants Republicans to be like her and to oppose people who are, quote unquote, pushing pornography into our schools. So, hey, good news. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's pushing pornography into schools. So you don't have to worry. Nailed it. Good job. Good job.
Sexual anarchy.
My God, man. They literally still believe that. And they think that you got the, litter boxes in the classrooms. That's not actually real. It's not reality. But see, this is what happens when you're in that right-wing ecosystem. Somebody will make up outrageous things, and it happens all the time, unfortunately. Those outrageous things get picked up and amplified by, whether it be, podcasters, broadcasters, eventually making its way up to frickin' Tucker Carlson, and they all believe it without actual evidence. In fact, despite evidence to the contrary, where we know that these things are not happening, but they say it anyway. It's ridiculous. It is a groupthink mentality where they just say, whatever, right? Facts don't matter. But if everyone else around me believes it, then it must be true. Oh, they won't lie. My friend wouldn't lie to me. Would they? He says he saw it on Fox News. And Fox News, they don't lie. They don't lie. Evidence is just a liberal conspiracy, don't you know? Yeah, okay. But he continues. And Boebert, she's done amazing. On what? I love her stand on our gun rights. And I love the fact that she keeps calling out these effing morons for what they are. Now, I hate to break it to you, dude. Joshy Poo, you're the moron. You're not a smart person falling for obvious fake news. I mean, look, sure, you can like her for being pro-gun. Fine, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, pro-Second Amendment, I'm pro-Second Amendment, sure. But I do think that personally, she is a reckless danger to everyone around her and her family. By the way, speaking of her family, another danger is her husband around teen girls, specifically bar waitresses. But seriously, though, this guy, or Lauren Boebert herself, calling anybody stupid is the epitome of the pot calling the kettle black. Great example. But unfortunately, again, even with all the negative responses here, there's a very, very good chance that nothing will change and that she's safe in her seat. She'll win. And that's a bummer. 538 rates Boebert as highly favored to win. But that said, it's not set in stone. The polls have been all over the place in this midterm. I don't honestly have no idea where this election is going to land. Whether it's going to be a blue wave, it's going to be a red wave. We don't know. I just don't know. So that means if you can't go out and vote, you haven't already. That said, I'm going to say that I think Boebert winning re-election is still a more likely outcome because of this. And I'm saying this as an analysis, not that I approve of this. There is an appetite for disruption, especially among the right wing, but it's also on the left. Disruption is what Boebert does. Marjorie Greene, same thing. Disruption. They came in to break shit. And they're doing just that. They're not building anything. They're not creating anything. They're certainly not serving anything except for themselves. And that's not the point. The point of voting them into office is to break things, to break it, to destroy it. And look, Boebert's probably doing a little bit of self-dealing on the side. I've talked about those reports before, trying to help her now defunct restaurant, as well as lying about her mileage, get money from her donors, et cetera, et cetera. But that said, look, I wouldn't be surprised if none of her supporters ever heard of any of those things that she did wrong. Very, very possible. Or they don't care. And again, the only purpose of putting her in power that they know is to own the libs. And that's exactly why some of these people will do the same thing come the election.